Okay, I know it's not Friday, but it is Memorial Day. And I've kind of made it a habit to watch a war movie on Memorial Day to remember the fallen. Now, that brings me, what would be one of the best movies to recommend on Memorial Day? And the first one that came to mind was 1963's The Great Escape. Now, this movie, directed by John Sturges, is plays a little fast and loose with the facts. The whole gist of what it is about the largest escape from a German POW camp during World War II, and what happened to 50 or so of the prisoners after that escape. It goes into the planning and the heartache and the guts of the POWs to make this escape happen. So let's talk about a moment in history. 1963, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave his I Have a Dream speech. There were tons of civil rights issues, movements, bombings, killings, court cases, a lot of civil stuff happening in 1963. And sadly, John F. Kennedy was assassinated as well at the end of the year. On an upbeat note, the U.S. Postal Office introduced zip codes. Telephones with push buttons were introduced. At first, they only had 10 buttons, and then they introduced the little hash key and little pound key. On British television, we had Doctor Who was introduced. On American television, we had General Hospital was introduced. And in Japan, we had Astro Boy was being introduced. And Julia Child premiered on educational television. Another thing that hit the marketplace, lava lamps. And Surfing USA was number one on the chart, on the charts. Now, one of the things I absolutely love about this movie is the music. It's irrepressible. It has this undaunted spirit behind it. Elmer Bernstein's wrote it, and it became so popular. This soundtrack became so very popular for so long that he was able to live off the royalties of the soundtrack. And if you haven't listened to the whole soundtrack, yeah, you have to, because the music is superb. It's like the blood of this movie. Now, this is a great action film. It's got a bit of a caper element to it. It's got so many familiar faces for me, and I hope that there are familiar faces for you too. A lot of like Donald Pleasance, Steve McQueen, James Garner, just on and on. A lot of guys were in this movie, and they all did superbly well. Another reason I really like this film is there's no sermonizing happening. There's no sex, and it's just about that undaunted spirit of resisting Nazis. I mean, Nazis were understood to be totally evil at that time, because this is still very fresh after World War II, and the whole horror of it was still rippling in society. So, how just showing that these prisoners of war were standing up against that and making the Germans just have to push all the resources into catching them after they escape and making their lives miserable. It's hard to describe the various emotions that come up through this film. And that's why all those emotions, all that striving to be better as people, as individuals, against individuals who were not striving to be better, but had gotten lost in evil. I mean, the scope of the film is really on that. It's right there. The music brings it forward. And if you haven't ever seen The Great Escape, go on to Canopy and watch it today. Now, Canopy is a free service provided by the libraries. All you need is a library card and your zip code, and you're in. Anyway, so that's where you can find The Great Escape to watch it. And if you just type in The Great Escape, you will get so many musical soundtracks. You'll have no problem listening to this in the background. It'll just get catchy. It's one of those movies where the music just embroils you into it. Okay, I've gone on enough about the music, and I think I've gone enough about this movie. Check out The Great Escape on Canopy. And enjoy your Memorial Day.